Good evening, everyone. That was just a test. Let me start that again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So glad that you're here this evening, and I apologize. I'm a bit melancholy. Heard from home that one of our favorite sons just passed away, and so I was really a little upset about that. How many of you are now in your hometown? Okay, quite a few of you in your hometown. Well, I'm not in my hometown, and those of us who are not in our hometown, we have in our hometown someone that always kind of communicates the news, right, about what's going on, what's happening. And for me, that's my sister Betty, and so she called up not too long before I came here to the theater tonight and just let me know that Mr. John Williams had passed away, and so she was just giving me the lowdown who was at the funeral and this, that, and the other. And so she indicated that they had a great difficulty getting Mr. Williams in his casket. You all remember the Hokey Pokey, by the way? Hokey Pokey, you know? Well, Mr. Williams was the person who actually wrote that song. And so it turned out that when he was at the funeral home, they dressed the body and so forth, tried to get him in the casket. He put his right foot in. Okay, now, there's somebody in the audience that needs some help, so you can pass it along what the punchline was so they can catch up with us. Yeah, come on. And I know there's folks out there saying that's an awful joke, but I know right now you're writing it down, trying to remember every line, so you're going to tell it when you get out of here. What a great joy, what a great delight to be here today and celebrate not only the Juneteenth celebration, but also marvelous folks who've done so much in our community over the years and have made a difference. And so we're here tonight to lift them up in very special kinds of ways, and so we're excited about that. But as we do in all things with the county, we're going to start, of course, with a presentation of colors. My name is Jim Stowe. I'm Director of Human Rights, and I am privileged and honored to serve, S-E-R-V-E, to serve those of you who are in this community. And so I count it a blessing, and I count it a joy, and I count it a privilege to be able to do so. So at this time, we'll call upon, again, the County Department of Correction and Rehabilitation, the Color Guard, to come and to present our colors, and ask R.J. Rashad Cresson, Jr., 5th grader from Strathmore Elementary School, to come out and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Color Guard.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rashad Caution Jr., and in the fall, I will be attending A. Mario Loiterman Middle School. Today, I will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance, so just look that way. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem will be sang by Nalia McGraw-Johnson, who's an 11th grader at Richard Montgomery High School. She and her fellow colleagues all are from the NAACP AXO program.
Hi, my name is Nalia McGraw-Johnson. I am a rising senior at Richard Montgomery High School, and today I'll be singing the national anthem. Oh, Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. And we'll ask Ms. McGraw-Johnson to come back, and she, of course, will grace us with Lift Every Voice and Sing. Now you can be seated. Thank you so much. But then as you are sitting down, Miss Nalia McGraw-Johnson, a person we've been looking at from time to come, from, again, we're so glad she's here, from Richard Montgomery High School. Well done, young lady. Well done indeed. I want to also thank Ben Stevenson's in the audience. I want to thank him again for his team of folks who came up and were our honor guard this evening from our Department of Correction and Rehabilitation. I want to thank those folks for stepping up. I really appreciate that. He's over there, I believe. So thank you so much, Director. Really appreciate your support. All right. So now we are at the part of our program where we're going to ask our illustrious county executive, Mark Elrich, to come up. He'll be joined by Councilmember Marilyn Balcom. They'll come up and bring some greetings as well, and also offer a proclamation and certainly recognize all of our elected officials. And we do have some here, so we're glad that you're here today.
So thank you all for being here tonight, and happy Juneteenth. And I want to be giving some awards, but I just want to talk about why we're here today. And I'm actually going to ad-lib Jim, and I want to give you a history lesson I used to give my 4th and 5th graders. So first of all, President Lincoln, on January 1st, 1863, issued the Emancipation Proclamation to end slavery in the states as a strategic act to rally the Union forces, also to keep the British from entering the war on the side of the South and allowing former slaves to enter the ranks of the Union Army. Sounds good. He didn't free a single slave in the states that were controlled by the Union. Not a single slave was freed. They were kept in slavery. He gave the South 6 months to return to the Union, and if they had returned to the Union, slavery would not be abolished. That was the full part of the Emancipation Proclamation. The good part, historically, is the Southerners were too stubborn to recognize their last best bargain, and when they lost the war, they lost everything, and it's a great celebration. And I always think of the song, "The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down," and I think that is a great celebration of the victory of the North over the South, and I'm not shy about that. It marked a turning point in the war because it did keep the British out, and 2 years later, in April 9th, 1865, the Civil War ended, but it took months before federal troops reached Galveston, Texas, and freed the last black slaves. So for a lot of people, slavery was the end of slavery was the opening of a new era in the United States. And I was a school teacher, I taught 4th and 5th graders, and a lot of them didn't understand their economic status and why their lives seemed different than other people's lives. And there's always this creeping question, if you're all free, equal, and have had equal opportunities, what the heck happened? And so I used to ask my class, we'd sit down and I'd say, let's imagine this is the day slavery ended. And I would say to them, okay, where are you going to sleep tonight? You're going to sleep on the master's farm. Who's going to decide how much you pay to sleep on the master's farm? The master. You're going to wake up in the morning. You're going to want to eat. Who's going to feed you? The master. Who decides how much the meal costs? The master. Now you got to pay the master back. Who are you going to work for? The master. Who's going to decide how much you get paid? The master. This led to a system of debt peonage in which you never got paid more than the debts you were running up for the ability to stay on your former plantation and the ability to be fed and everything else. And then there's the political issue. So in southern states, and they'd have these polls, and the polls were more open back then, and it was a little more open voting than we have today. And masters would let it be known that if certain candidates were to win, people would be thrown off the farms. So you're in a situation where you could vote for a person you wanted to vote for. But if you vote for that person and they win, you no longer have a place to sleep, you don't have a job, and you don't have food to eat. That was freedom. And I'd ask my kids whether you thought that was freedom. And my kids, not being naive, not being dumb, understood full well that was not freedom. And that and debt peonage persisted to almost around 1960. So the legacy was long, painful, and hard. It prevented generations from building wealth, generations from having opportunity, generations from getting educations, and generations being able to build the lives that other people were able to build here. And I know this sounds stunningly like critical race theory, and so be that too, because it's the truth. And until this country can deal with the truth, we're going to have a hell of a difficult time setting things right. And so I figure the more I hear people criticize critical race theory, the more I'm going to talk about it. Because, I'd like to send this personally to Governor DeSantis. But I say this because, we really do have to acknowledge, and we have to talk about what happened over the period between the Civil War and the present, because it has surely shaped the opportunities for the black community in ways that affected the black community unlike anything else we did in this country. And that's something else we have to acknowledge. It's not like other people haven't been discriminated against. Irish and Chinese workers on the railroads and canals were used instead of slaves because they were treated as more disposable. They came over, worked cheap. If they died, nobody cared. You didn't lose your investment. And you had to treat slaves better than that because they were an investment. And that better was not much better. So black people aren't the only ones. But the treatment of black people in this country is uniquely horrible and uniquely different. And I think it's important that we acknowledge that. So I just wanted to do that little lesson. It had to affect them on the little kids I taught. And I knew they were young, but I figured they're not too young to understand because they were young enough to be angry and to feel the tensions and not understand why they felt racial tensions. And I felt they deserved a reason for why they felt that way. They needed to understand what was behind it rather than just have this stuff stew in them and not have any reason for it at all. So meanwhile, back to the program. So Montgomery County, we've had people who've been working, contributing to the betterment of our black community and the entire county and beyond for the majority of most of their adult lives. And tonight we're honoring some of those living legends. Living legends are folks who are 75 years and older and who have a record of contribution to this community that is notable and worthy of honor. And so that's what we're doing this evening. And tonight's living legends are Henry Hailstock, Reverend Teresa Henderson, Pauline Johnson, Sheila Ogilvie, Vernon Ricks Jr., and Lieutenant Colonel Shelton Ivan Ware. And I've been to his birthday party before. So these special honorees have dedicated their lives to service and excellence in the African-American community and throughout this county. And while they've achieved some great accomplishments in their lives, and they continue to strive to uplift their communities with hope and faithfulness, they really have made a difference. And we thank them all for the many contributions to our county. Tonight marks the first event of the 2023 Juneteenth celebration. We invite all of you back tomorrow for a full day of activities and entertainment and cultural education for the whole family, right here at Black Rock, beginning at noon. And if you're not coming back up to this end of the county, there are events all over the county tomorrow. I am really proud to see the way this holiday is evolving to actually feel like a celebration of freedom and doing this more broadly across the county rather than one event or two events. So it's good progress. Tonight marks, like I said, the first event. I want to thank our Director of Human Rights, Jim Stowe, and staff, and the African American Health Program, the African American Advisory Group, and Twanda McFadden for putting together this great program and accepting my editing of what I was going to say. And I want to give a special thank you also to Katie Hecklinger and the team at Black Rock Center for the Arts for hosting and its partnership, and for this and the entire Juneteenth celebration. So happy Juneteenth, everybody. Let's celebrate, but let's remember we got a lot to fight for and a lot to do. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you, County Executive. My name's Marilyn Balcom, and I have the great honor to be the council member for District 2. So welcome to District 2, welcome to Germantown, and especially welcome to our crowning jewel, the Black Rock Center for the Arts. I'm so happy to see everybody here today. I do want to recognize my colleagues. With us this evening, we have Councilmember Kate Stewart, Councilmember Gabe Albornoz, and Councilmember Lori Ann Sales, who I just saw at a ribbon cutting an hour ago. So it's so great to have you here. I also want to recognize our state partners. We have with us tonight Delegate Lily Chi, and we have Delegate Lorg Charkoudian, and we also have a twofer. We have the Up County Regional Services Center Director Greg Wims, who is also a new delegate for District 39, my delegate, so thank you. I also want to recognize Councilmember Will Jawando. He's not here with us this evening, but he issued a proclamation, a Juneteenth proclamation from the County Council in our council session, and so I wanted to recognize that he has done the proclamation. So we're here tonight to celebrate community and the impact that each individual can have in their community. Community is built by each individual giving what they can, their time, their energy, their passion, and their treasure. And tonight, it is my deep honor to welcome and congratulate the 2023 African American Living Legends. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
You recognize this, it's a proclamation. Proclamation, Montgomery County, Maryland, whereas in 1860, Montgomery County had a population of 18,322, including some 5,500 slaves and 1,500 free blacks. Maryland would remain a slaveholding state until the Maryland Constitution of 1864 outlawed slavery on November 1st, 1864. Whereas the Quakers in Montgomery County actively participated in securing the freedom of slaves and were the first to provide secret trails to the Underground Railroad and safe houses leading to Canada and freedom, and whereas Juneteenth is one of the number of Freedom Day celebrations commemorating the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 and celebrates the notification of the last slaves in Galveston, Texas by General Gordon Granger on June 19th, 1865, almost 2.5 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Whereas Juneteenth has come to symbolize freedom for many African Americans, just as the 4th of July means freedom for all Americans, and whereas throughout our nation, Juneteenth is celebrated annually as a historical tribute to our country's African American heritage and triumph of the human spirit over the cruelty of slavery. And whereas Montgomery County is proud to call this 26th countywide celebration to join states and local communities now celebrating Juneteenth as an official county holiday with our theme, Journey to Freedom, promoting and enhancing the unity and spiritual strength that brought African Americans out of slavery. And whereas in the spirit of Juneteenth, we honor the lifelong contributions made by Henry Hailstock Jr., Reverend Teresa M. Henderson, Pauline G. Johnson, Esquire, Sheila G. Ogilvie, Vernon H. Ricks Jr., Lieutenant Colonel Shelton Ivan Ware, who have served to further the cause of social justice, inclusion, and a more harmonious Montgomery County. Now therefore do we, Mark Elwich's County Executive, hereby proclaim June 16th, 2023 as African American Living Legends Day, and June 17th, 2023 as Juneteenth Celebration Day in Montgomery County. We encourage all residents to observe the 157th anniversary of this historic day. signed the 16th of June, 2023 by me.
Thank you both to Councilmember Balcom as well as to County Executive Mark Elrich. We appreciate it very much indeed. We're moving with our program, and you heard about this particular declaration, and so you'll get a chance then to maybe hear more about it directly because our next person up, Tenon Debele, you may see there's a different person in the program with this particular responsibility, and Samuel Wiggins was not able to be with us, and so AXO students step up. And so we have then Tenon Dembele, who's going to step up for us tonight and read this, again, General Proclamation Order Number 3. Tenon. Tenon. Tenon, you've changed. Okay. Donovan O'Harrington. Donovan Holt Harrington. Did I get that right, Donovan? Now let's do it again. Thank you. Come on, Donovan.
Good evening. The General Proclamation of June 19, 1865 states, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves the absolute equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. And the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and free laborer. They are advised to remain at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere."
All right. I've got the right page this time, okay? Very good. Okay. We now are going to be graced with a musical selection again from our AXO students. We're very, very pleased to have Joseph Cecil. He's a freshman at Seneca Valley High School, and his selection is entitled Waltz in A-Flat Major, OP 42. Wow, okay. And the composer is Frederick Chopin. So again, let's bring out again Joseph Cecil. Go right there. Don't tell me we don't do classy things here in Montgomery County. Oh, my. Oh, my. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. A freshman, y'all. A freshman. Wow, that's great stuff. I want my colleague to come up now. We'll sort of go out a little bit out of order in terms of our agenda just for a quick second because I want to bring him up, and I actually missed him on the program, but I want him to come up. And Dr. Akenta Myers, he's with the African American Health Program, and I want him sort of just to summarize by way of a statement about kind of why we're here as well. And so again, Dr. Myers, come on up, please, and share with us. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I first want to say how honored I am to be here to celebrate the lives of so many African American living legends who have done so much not only for our community, but America, to be honest, right? But here, I'm here to bring official welcome to the 26th Juneteenth celebration on behalf of Montgomery County, African American Health Program, and the African American Advisory Group. I do want to share that Elijah Wheeler, the chair of the AAG, had a family matter arise and could not be with us tonight, but sends his greetings and congratulations to this evening's award winners. We come this evening to celebrate the historic events of June 19th, 1865, which ended the nightmare of slavery for so many, and the critical step toward the fulfillment of the Emancipation Proclamation. We also come to celebrate our community. We are pleased with the news of a number of celebrations occurring throughout the county and pleased that the paid holiday extended to the county employees and to others to allow the opportunity to participate in all the activities planned. We remember persons and are thankful for all those who fought for this holiday and made sure that we celebrated here in Montgomery County. So we thank Anita Neal Powell and Tina Clark, and there are many others who kept the flame alive for the holiday when many did not even know about the holiday. We salute you. Absolutely. But Juneteenth is but one step, albeit an important one, toward true recognition of a people who have given so much to this country. Such is also the case to those we are also here to recognize, African American seniors who in our own right have forged equal justice, quality education, equal opportunity, and fair access here in Montgomery County through the 7th African American Living Legends Awards. Our continuing goal is to encourage and empower a legacy connection between the Black community seniors and elders and young and emerging leaders who are prepared to accept the mantle of service and advocacy inspired by the examples of those who are recognized this evening. We have recognized in the past some of the most deserving elders and seniors in the community, and this evening we will continue the same tradition. Our honorees will be formally presented to you by our talented youth with the NAACP Montgomery County Branch ACSO program. ACSO, if you didn't know, stands for Afro-Academic, Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics. We hope you enjoy this wonderful program. I now want to call back to the stage Jim Stowe.
All right. Now, this young lady has just been making noise for several years now with her marvelous prose, dynamic, piercing, convicting poetry. And so now with the spoken word, I'm so glad to bring back to you one of our returning ACSO members. Again, I'm just so proud of her as she ascends then to a senior at Northwest High School, Tanen Dembele. And her words are songs of freedom. Songs of freedom. Tanen.
Gotta lower that a bit. Okay.
Good evening. So, as Mr. Stowe just said, my name is Tenin Dembele, and I like to call myself a poet, Poete, with 2 E's because I use my poetry to educate and empower. The piece that I will be performing for you tonight is titled Songs of Freedom, and I hope you enjoy. Freedom is not simply a word we say with our tongues, the sound of shattered shackles or the scent that rises with the smoke as flames engulf the whips. Oh, how sweet the smell. Oh, how breathtaking the sight of a land that embraces individuality and everyone is free to just be respectfully and authentically. Every day we make steps towards this destination of a free equal nation. At times it feels as though as we march, the load gets lighter and our future brighter. Other times, it's as though a pound of brick has been replaced by the deception of a pound of feathers, and we're expected to smile and say thanks. We walk and we march down the crooked road littered with the glass of shattered reflections to the golden sign perched upon a hill that never seems to get any closer. We say we seek equality and freedom, but my people, you have forgotten. Harriet Tubman did not run away to be free. Malcolm X and Dr. King did not speak up for freedom, for they were already free. And their freedom is what led them to fight for change. Maya Angelou once said, "I know why caged birds sing." I finally do too. My people, here is the truth. Freedom is power, is choice, the choice, God-given choice that can never be taken away, a flight or fight. Freedom is not what we fight for, freedom is the fight. It's fists of every shade in the air and hearts bleeding onto paper through pens and caged birds singing. It is the blood, sweat, tears, and blisters. Freedom is our power. And my people, I know you are tired of always being second-guessed, of being treated as worthless and poor while others like to wear your shoes as fashion, but never truly pay the expensive price as you have. There's calluses on your feet, dirt caked on your face, and scars in your heart, and you just want to rest. The road has been excruciatingly long. Taking a moment to rest is okay, but stopping altogether will not make the road any shorter. So my people, cherish every step and let your steps become struts. Shift your focus away from the golden sign perched upon the hill that never seems to get any closer to your palm, where you'll find the only compass you need. Let your heart be a metronome that beats approximately 100,000 times a day, urging you to sing, sing, and let it ring, my people. Let each beat be a reminder of your freedom. Let each beat say that in order to beat the odds, every day will be a fight. Thank you.
That's right. We're going to encourage and we're going to lift up our young people in Montgomery County. They need to know that they're important and that we encourage them, that we are behind them. So every chance you get to lift them up, please do so. They are worth it. They really are. Okay, next up is a musical selection by, well, this is going to be an interesting duo here, so I'm excited about this. So anyway, the selection that is before us is Sonatina in D major, OP 137, number 1, Allegro Vivace. Close, I'm sure. Here we go. Performing then this marvelous piece is going to be then Seraphia Cecil. She's a senior at Seneca Valley High School. And we're going to have her join her brother, Joseph Cecil, again, who's a freshman at Seneca Valley High School. Let's bring him onto the stage, please. Give him a round of applause. Now, you know what? I know we can do better than that. Wasn't that not wonderful? Wonderful. Is mom or dad in the audience by any chance? Okay, man, I don't see them here. I'm so sorry. They are here. Please stand. Yes, please stand. Now, I know there must not be no video games going on in your home. Amen. Very good. Very good indeed. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The Cecil family. Good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. All right. We now have come to the heart and the core of why we're here this evening. And I'm so delighted to be a part of this wonderful evening as we recognize the 5 persons who are here today, and Lieutenant Colonel Ware. As you maybe don't know this, but Lieutenant Colonel Shelton, in parentheses, Ivan Ware, just turned 100 in February. Yes. And so we're going to honor him at another session at another time that might be more, again, available for him to be able to come out and be a part of it. So we will still recognize him tonight. However, he will not be, of course, joining us, and there won't be a presentation as such about that. So we'll alert you, all of you, about when that time may come, so you might be able then to come out and celebrate him as well. So those persons who are here, we are asking then our AXO students to take part in this, to, as Dr. Myers talked about, trying to bridge the gap between, again, those of us who are a little bit more seasoned and those who are yet to experience many of the things that we already have experienced. It's a gap and a chasm that I think we need to fill. And so this is one way that we're able then to do this. And so we are ready to celebrate then our first award recipient, and Seraphia is going to come out again and recognize this award winner by way of introduction. And once we introduce him or her, we'll have then a special video presentation that, in fact, our awardees have, in fact, been a part of themselves. So they will tell their own story about their life and the things that are important to them. So we'll then invite then the person to come up, and then be able to then receive his or her award. I'm going to ask then Councilmember Balcom, as well as County Executive Elrich, to come up and be a part of that actual ceremony when it happens, okay? That's how we're going to proceed. So without any further ado, Seraphia Cecil will introduce our first African-American Living Legend Award recipient.
Mr. Henry Hailstock has been a resident of Montgomery County for more than 44 years. Thank you. Mr. Henry Hailstock has been a resident of Montgomery County for more than 44 years. He is a native of Washington, D.C., and has long been a catalyst for change in our communities. He is a U.S. Army veteran and a former NFL football player, a lifetime member of the NAACP, and a former president of the Montgomery County chapter. In addition to many other accolades and accomplishments, Mr. Hailstock is a past chair of the Committee for Montgomery. For more than 15 years, he and this committee, comprised of business, labor, education, arts, civic, and community-based organizations representing more than 350,000 residents, work to educate members and the general public on advocacy and policy issues. They work to promote development of our economy and infrastructure, education and health of our residents, and increased opportunities for Montgomery County's 1 million plus residents. Mr. Hailstock is also in the Montgomery County Human Rights Commission Hall of Fame. Mr. Hailstock is a tremendous voice in our community and continues to serve as he is needed and able for the advancement of our people, our culture, our county, and our way of life. Please accept this nomination, recognizing that this is just a small portion of his entire body of work. A greater portion of his work spans the country and across the globe.
didn't realize how trouble it was until I went to Lincoln University in Missouri. We had to stay in our opponent's campus because we couldn't stay in a hotel room because, you know, that turned them out. I only found one organization, I knew of one organization that helped me understand and knew the cipher that was NAACP. And I swore if I ever got in any kind of position that I would try to do it. And that's what happened. When I got into middle school, you know, I found athletics. And I learned teamwork. My father said, you know, whatever you do, whatever job you do, you know, do it and do it well. And then it started me to move on. My mother said, never forget where you came from. And that inspired me to understand where I came from and what I need to do. So those are things I took in athletics and in life period to move on and move up. And as a team member, you're supposed to help do your job and help the team so you can succeed. And that's what gave me, you know, life lessons. So I know that as a team member in the community, you need to do whatever is possible to make things better. And that's what I live by. Family and community, I would say, is inspiration and resources. Inspiration because I know what's needed to make my family succeed, not only now, but in the future. To my community, the same thing, to succeed now and in the future. And we all can do a part to make things work and make things work well. So no matter what that may be, so that's what drives me and motivates me, and those are the words I would use. What's important is that you need both. You need your family behind you. You need to work with your family to make sure, you know, they're succeeding. And to make sure that they succeed, you got to make sure that the future is there for them. They're part of the community. And for the community to succeed, we need to do what we can do, okay, to help and motivate and inspire and make things better. I found that out in my whole life, that, you know, we could do something. Everyone could do something, even if it's a small part. Every little bit helps. You know, it's just like doing a puzzle. You put a piece here, a piece there, and then all of a sudden, the puzzle is solved. It's the same thing. My advice is to do something. Don't try to do it by yourself. Work with your community, your resources there, the people that are around you, because they can help you, no matter who they may be. You know, they can contribute to something. And as successful as people may perceive that I am, it's only because of the resources that, you know, I gathered in the community to help me move forward in efforts and projects that we have. I hope they would understand that I'm earnest, that I am caring, that they can depend on me in times of need, that I believe and trust in God. I'm a blessed person, and for all that I have done and all that I need to do, He gave me the strength, He gave me the knowledge, He gave me the wisdom to do what I needed to do. But I didn't do it alone. He gave me the resources in the community to help me do it. And if there's so many people that I could name that helped me in doing that, I'm just blessed.
Ladies and gentlemen, African-American living legend, Henry Hellstock, Jr.
I'm sorry, Sonia. They want me to say a few words. That's my wife. You may notice some guys in crimson and cream. Those are my fraternity brothers who helped me along the way to do some of the things we need to do in the community. Our foundation, that's feeding the homeless, that's helping the youth, some of the ones you see come on stage. And we just gave scholarships to a number of your scholars in the county. As I said again, I didn't do it alone. I did with people, my friends, my colleagues, my name-only people that we need to move on and do what's right. And I thank you. Thank you for this honor.
Our next presentation is by Nalia McGraw-Johnson, and she will again bring to the stage and present to you our next African American Living Legend awardee.
Teresa M. Henderson Matthews was born in Washington, D.C. in 1939 to Clayton Matthews, a pitcher for the Baltimore Black Sox Negro League team, and Geneva McKinney. In 1983, Teresa took a job as a MCPS bus operator to have more flexibility to tend to her children. During her tenure, Teresa became the president of the Montgomery County Public School Service Employee International Union Department of Transportation. In this role, Teresa fought tirelessly for the equitable treatment of bus operators to perform their critical jobs of safely transporting the youth of MCPS between school and home. In her 60s, it was no surprise to anyone when God called Teresa to a life of ministry. After achieving her master's in divinity for Howard University, the now Reverend Teresa M. Henderson accepted the call to pastor the Light of Faith non-denominational church in Durwood, Maryland, where she continues to pastor today. Through her ministry, Reverend Henderson had led countless souls to life more abundantly. She is currently a pastoral volunteer at the Shady Grove Adventist Hospital and the Shady Grove Behavioral Center, where her focus is assisting at-risk youth. And at 83 years old, answers to the call whenever Montgomery County Public Schools has a need for her to lend a hand to help youth amid a struggle. Anyone who has had the honor to cross paths with Reverend Teresa M. Henderson can attest to her unconditional love and charitable giving to others. Although she will tell you that her award awaits her in heaven, it is also true that her work on earth is worthy of the 2023 African American Living Legends Awards.
I've had struggles through life. I have 6 children. I've given my life completely to God, but it's so hard as you get older to continue to do the things that you want to do and you used to do and so on. So if I sit down, I'm not sure if I'll get up. So I continue to do things to help others. God said, give, and it should give it back to you, multiply. So that's my motivation, to continue to do things so I won't get stagnant. There would be no point in living if I was stagnant and just wanted to stop here. I've come a long ways down. A long ways. 83 does not buckle me down. It's not tie me down. I'm going to, the Bible says that we're living in this New Testament much longer than we used to. So I'm on my mission. Working as a counselor for Montgomery County Schools, for the Shady Grove Hospital Behavioral Center, for many organizations, and I'm still counseling to this point. I'm doing it as a volunteer now because They're so in need of counselors and seniors especially who've gone through something. But doing that, seeing others struggling, like, it somehow makes you stronger. Can't even explain the joy it gives me to help others. So that's how I get up every morning knowing that there's somebody out there who needs me. And that's how I get through mine. My family is unbelievable. I have one deceased daughter, but she's always with me. And the other 5 are wonderful children. I have a daughter who's a councilwoman. I have a daughter who's a teacher. I have a daughter who's a Montgomery County administrator there who works with, my boys, one was just here, he's a retired sheriff last year for many years. And the other one just had a motorcycle accident, but he's so he worked for Hughes Network for many years. So I'm blessed. I am so blessed. My kids are all self-supporting. I live in Durwood, I live in Mill Creek Town. I have a lot of my neighbors are older like I am, and they're moving away, but we have always been a close community, a very well-kept community, and there's nothing I can say but awesome. There was a professor at Howard University. Her name was Dr. Etheridge. Not only was she my professor, she stayed with me even when I graduated, when I got my master's. She stayed with me. My father died when I was 13 months old. My mother was always working, and when I went to college, even with 6 children, this woman inspired me. Go, you can do it. You can make it. And today, I have a college education, I have a master's. And I will use it to help whenever I can. Do not let the things of the world consume you. Matter of fact, things that are happening that you have no control over, do not let it consume you. Go forward. Do not be stagnant. Push on even when you don't feel like it. And then turn your life over to Christ. I can only sum it up by saying, she's a woman of God. God is my refuge. He's my help. And that's the best I can tell her. Family woman and a woman of God. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Reverend Theresa M. Henderson, your next African American Living Legend awardee. Come on up.
So I was remiss in my welcoming. I want to recognize the City of Gaithersburg City Council Member Lisa Henderson. And the apple didn't fall far from that tree. And I also want to recognize Mayor Judd Ashman is here with us tonight.
I want to thank everyone who made a contribution to me receiving this award. And I just want to say, to God be the glory for the things I've done. It wasn't by me. It was by his grace and mercy. Thank you all.
Next, we have Sophia Blucker. She's a junior at James Herbert Blake High School, and she will come out and present our next African American Living Legend awardee.
Ms. Pauline Johnson has been a resident of Montgomery County for over 50 years and recently celebrated her 86th birthday. She is being nominated for a Living Legend because of her continuous service in areas, voter registration, and civic engagement. She has registered hundreds of Montgomery County voters as a volunteer registrar for the last 25 years. She has organized registrar trainings for over 100 volunteers. She knows the significance of exercising one's right to vote and spreads her passion through the community. You can find her at Wheaton Library or other community events sitting at the voter registration table. She works closely with the Montgomery County Board of Elections to prepare registrars and keep citizens aware of voting locations and dates. Ms. Johnson worked as an attorney for the U.S. Agency for International Development from September 1973 until retirement in May 2002. During her employment, she traveled to Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, Barbados, Kenya, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Burundi, Tanzania, Senegal, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Gambia. She was posted to Kenya from September 1997 to March 2002, serving as the director of the legal office for the USAID's regional office, and she was blessed to survive the U.S. Embassy bombing in 1998. Ms. Johnson was a member of the leadership Montgomery class of 1993, and thereafter served on its board of directors from 1993 to 1996. She was a member of the inaugural senior leadership Montgomery County class of 2002. Ms. Johnson is a graduate of California State University, Los Angeles, and a graduate of the UCLA School of Law. Ms. Johnson's commitment to her community is evidenced by her continuous work to engage and educate citizens of Montgomery County. She has always appreciated the right to vote and shares this passion with others as she registers new voters and keeps the community cognizant of the issues and concerns of the county. Through her advocacy, she has greatly contributed to the betterment of Montgomery County.
I am a person that came along at a certain time in history, and I have tried to be a person that gives to the community because the community gives to me, and I try not to be in debt to the community. So I do my best to, as Maya Angelou says, pay my rent while I'm here. It started in elementary school. I had teachers who, a segregated school in Pocahontas, Virginia, with teachers who cared about us, and who encouraged us to do the best that we could do. They never required a standard of what best was, but it was the best that we could do. And maybe before that, my mother, we were very poor. My stepfather was a coal miner, and we had little, if any, money. We could not afford the Encyclopedia Britannica, but she had a person come in one day and talk to us, and my sisters and I, about the Lincoln Library. There's a book called, a big encyclopedic book in huge volume, and she bought one. And I guess I was just interested in seeing what was in that book and what could I learn. And certain things really spoke to me, is how to learn. And I never lost my love for learning. I guess I believe in trying to bloom wherever I'm planted, and trying to leave whatever I'm leaving in better condition than what I found it in, or at least no worse condition than I found it in. That's just how I work in life. I just want to make things better. And I get a great joy out of helping people, out of associating with people and talking to people and seeing what they're all about. That's where I guess the voter registration part that I've done so much of. I enjoy finding out what people's status is. And I enjoy trying to help them navigate the political system as best they can. And where do you start it? By voting. I was doing voter registration in downtown Silver Spring at one of the festivals one year. And as I say, when people walk by, I asked them, are you registered to vote? May I register you to vote? And this young man said, well, no, I can't register to vote. And I was quite taken aback because I couldn't imagine, he seemed to have been over 18 years old, and I couldn't imagine why. And he told me, because I'm a felon, I'm an ex-felon. I couldn't imagine not being able to vote because you had served time in prison. And when you look at the statistics, then you see that maybe there are some things behind the serving in prison. How did you get to that point where you got to prison? And I haven't figured out how to get back to where I would think a person would want to be as a contributing citizen. Primarily, I would like to participate in programs that provide an outreach to former felons and learn how to help them see a different path for themselves and to point them to resources that may help them along the way. I believe that they have at least as much as I have in terms of resources to give, human resources to give. I just believe they have it, and it's just a matter of finding out how to plug myself into what that is so that I can get them to plug themselves into where they are and how they can make their lives more fulfilling for them. Next to God, family is there. I don't put my family below everything else, When company comes, my family eats. And we hope we have enough left for the company. It's my being, and other people have being as well. And so I try to do my best so that I don't infringe on their right to be, and hope that I give them a chance to say yes to my right to be. Explore what's out there. Don't set yourself into a corner where you are unto yourself. Reach out, be willing to take a risk. That people may reject you, they may not like you, they may discriminate against you, but always be willing to give people a chance to say yes to you, a chance to say yes to life. I'd like to say that she is positive, that she's hopeful, that she's an encourager, that she wants to help them achieve their greatest potential, and that she hopes that they will look to the community to find themselves and to assert themselves and to make this world a better place.
Ladies and gentlemen, after African American Living Legend Award winner, Pauline G. Johnson, Esquire. Come on. And Ms. Johnson, there's a special presentation that needs to be made as well. Please.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Congratulations, Pauline. I'm Michelle McNeil Gill. I'm the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Theta Omega Omega chapter, of which Pauline is a member. We're so proud of you and just want to present these beautiful pink tea roses to you. This is our symbol. And I'd like to ask our other chapter members to stand as we salute Pauline, our member Pauline.
Step over just a little further. Grab this microphone a little bit further. Oh, a little bit further. A little bit further. Yes, we have a microphone. There we go.
Good evening. I am very happy to be here and give honor to God for this honor, and thank you to Montgomery County, to our county executive, and all the people that made it possible for me to be here. I'd like to thank particularly my chapter, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Theta Omega Omega, and Mrs. Kimberly McLurkin Harris, who made all of this possible for me. And I am happy to say that I've got lots of family and friends and former co-workers, League of Women Voters and others, J. Franklin Boren Barr, members who are here tonight to cheer me on, and I want to thank all of you for this honor, and please keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Want me to take that down with that thing down with
Next, my friends, we have up Mr. Arnold Yanana Jr. He's a senior at Winston Churchill High School, another one of our members of our AXO program. He will bring up our next African American Living Legend awardee.
Sheila Ogilvie is a retired career national bank examiner from the U.S. Treasury Department's Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, or the OCC. With a 25-year at the OCC, she started as a financial intern and eventually became a commissioned national bank examiner. She led examination teams for major banks in the United States and later worked as a director for Fannie Mae. Currently, Mrs. Ogilvie is an independent TV producer and host of a program called Transforming Lives, Giving Back to the Community, where she highlights individuals, companies, and charities making a positive impact in Montgomery County and its surrounding areas. She has produced and hosted over 40 episodes of the show and has been involved in various community initiatives, including covering the United State of Women Summit and co-producing the Montgomery County's Parade of Scholarships. In addition to her professional endeavors, Mrs. Ogilvie is actively involved in volunteer work and community service. She is a charter member and past president of the Potomac Valley Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and has held leadership positions at national, regional, state, and local levels. Mrs. Ogilvie has contributed to organizations like the National Capital Area Alzheimer's Association, the Marriott Foundation's From School to Work program, and the March of Dimes. She is a lifetime member of the NAACP and the National Council of Negro Women, and has affiliations with various other community-oriented groups. Furthermore, Sheila has entrepreneurial experience, having owned and operated Ogilvie Transportation Services for over 20 years, receiving recognition for community service along the way. Sheila Ogilvie resides in Silver Spring with her husband and has 2 adult children. Thank you.
Sheila Ogilvie. Well, I'm a Jersey girl. I am a mother, a wife, a grandmother, an entrepreneur, a community organizer. And I really believe, based on my experience in growing up and being a first-generation college student, that to whom much is given, much is required. And that's why I continue to serve in Montgomery County. I'm motivated by change. I like to see positive change in the community. I am motivated by being able to give back myself. So a lot of what I do is as a volunteer, not as a career. But when I see the results of what I do, for example, I have the program at Montgomery Community Media, I'm Transforming Lives, that allows me to profile or spotlight individuals, organizations in the community that are making a difference, that are transforming lives and impacting the various communities in Montgomery County. It heightens the awareness, and it also brings resources to those organizations and groups that I'm able to talk to. And so I'm really fulfilled by that and appreciate, what others are doing in the community. I was a business major, not a communications major, but I love TV. I'm trying to transition now to the next hot thing, this podcast. I'd like to continue helping individuals and organizations tell their story. I'm motivated to serve because I want to better Montgomery County, for my grandson and future generations. And we've come a long way, but there's still a lot of work to do. We need more affordable housing. We need to teach our children about financial literacy in the schools. We need better paying jobs. There's just a lot that we can do. And so that's what motivates me to keep serving. There are a number of life lessons. I believe you have to treat people the way you like to be treated. That's one. I believe that we need to learn from our experiences and learn from the past. And some ways of doing that is by tracking or looking at the history of our families, of the churches, of the various communities in Montgomery County, and try to leverage from what we see. My word for my family is that we are believers. And I just like to say, we work hard, we play hard, but we have big dreams and we follow our passion. And an example of that is my husband and I, we formed a transportation company. We knew very little about transportation, but we knew we wanted a company. We wanted to be entrepreneurs, we wanted a business. We did our research, we built alliances, we went to conferences and trade associations and established relationships to the point where we were able to start and operate a business. And eventually we left our career jobs and became full-time entrepreneurs. But that's because we believed that we could do it. And of course, we had a plan. And I think my children view life the same way. One word that I would give our community is giving back. I think about the George B. Thomas Learning Academy, the Saturday school program that they have in years, but I know that they provide services for youth in 11 or 12 centers. Every week, they serve thousands of Montgomery County youth through that program. I think of the NAACP AXO program and the Montgomery County chapters of the Society Incorporated and what they do to support youth in the arts. And I think of organizations that I'm involved in, like the Tucson River chapter of the Links, we mentor young girls. So, you know, I think that the community giving back is making more of a difference for our kids. I think it's important for our young leaders coming along to know the system, to know Montgomery County government, to know where the government is going, and to work within this system. To talk to the community, you know, to look at ways to overcome barriers to increasing growth in Montgomery County, to increasing the quality of life in Montgomery County. I think there is a lot out there, and our younger generation are ready to take the helm. I would like for them to be able to say that she is a hard worker, she exceeds expectation, she's loyal, she leads by example, and she continues to serve. She enjoys serving others.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sheila G. Ogilvie, our next African American Living Legend Award winner.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank my family and friends and sorority sisters for coming out this evening. I'd like to congratulate all of the other honorees. This is truly an honor for me to be here, and thank you, Montgomery County. I do appreciate that. One of the messages that I wanted to get across is that I truly work to improve the quality of life for citizens in our community, particularly the youth. In all the organizations that I'm involved in, I tend to work on the scholarship committees or fundraising committees to bring resources in. And so with that, I just like to say I will continue to serve to empower and uplift our youth for as long as I can. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have coming up next Tenen Dembele, who will be offering up our next African American Living Legend honoree. Tenen.
Vernon H. Ricks Jr., a third-generation Washingtonian, attended the D.C. public schools and was a member of the first class to integrate and graduate from the McKinley Technical High School. After receiving an honorable discharge from the Air Force, he was hired by the Xerox Corporation, where he retired after 33 years. While serving as a manager with the Xerox Corporation, Vernon became active in his community and was elected as the first African American to hold a municipal office in Montgomery County, Maryland, as councilman and mayor pro tem of the city from 1972 through 1982. During his public service, Vernon served on the National League of Cities, Board of Directors, and the Maryland Municipal League Board. He met with both President Jimmy Carter and President Ronald Reagan on matters affecting the nation's cities. He is a Golden Heritage Life member of the Montgomery County NAACP, serving on the executive committee, and is a parliamentarian of the NAACP Maryland State Conference. He is a member of the board of directors for Montgomery Community Media, MCM, Advisory Committee of the Josiah Henson Museum, and the Montgomery County Police Advisory Commission. His many awards and honors include the Montgomery County Human Rights Commission's Hall of Fame Award and the Maryland State NAACP Hall of Fame. Vernon resides in Potomac, Maryland, with his wife, Janet Lee Ricks, his son, Brian, daughter-in-law, Lorene, and 3 grandsons, Jayonte, Aaron, and Christian.
I had great opportunities in serving my country and serving in politics. I've just been dedicated to my church family. I've served my church well, and I've served my neighbors well. And I know that in my life, I've done much, and by doing that, I know that much was required of me. I grew up in a segregated Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. And went to segregated schools and was in that first classes to integrate after the '54 decision. And when they integrated, they sent me to McKinley Tech High School in D.C., which was the white school before integration. At the black school, we only had like 1 or 2 basketballs, and so all of the guys would play, we played half court so that we could have, enough places to play. But when we got to the white school, they had basketball, goals here, goals all around this huge gym. And so we were still, had been trained in our minds that we were to play in, half court. The teacher came up and said, well, why are you guys playing around one goal? Even though we were integrated in the schools, it's still, our minds were still set to do certain things. And so he said to us, he said, well, wait a minute. He took me in the room to help get the ball. And it was a room this big as this, and it had just basketballs and goals and nets and all kinds of things, footballs. And I saw then what separate and unequal was. And so today, as I think about it, I just want our black kids to understand the importance of what we are trying to provide to them in education, in being able to matriculate through the systems, and that they need to be very focused on what life has in store for them, and to take that as a mantle to do their best in what happens. When I moved into Tacoma Park in 1968, I had invested in a property. There was a newspaper article that said that with the influx of blacks, and back then they called them hippies too, that the community was going down. I went to the council meeting and I said, oh, no. We are not a problem in this community. We are here to invest just as everyone else is. And I just felt I needed to be a part of it. I came from a family where I had a mom and a dad at home and sisters. And I have tried to bring that through in my life, the importance of that family. My family background is, again, from Quincy Orchard, Maryland. All of them have been, you know, all of us cousins and what have you, have been somewhat successful. They are involved in Montgomery County. My dad had been involved in the Masonic organization. He was involved in the shrines in DC, and he was just a good dad. You never really appreciate your parents and what they have given you until you get out on your own. And when you're out there on your own, then you can look back. And I had to go back to my dad and say, you know, I understand where you were coming from, and I appreciate that, and I loved it. In my 84 years, I think I've done a lot. I'm not resting on my laurels. Those things that I have achieved, the awards in life that I've gotten, I all appreciate them, but I still know that there are those who need to be lifted in our community. So that's what keeps me going. I'm not looking to retire from life, even though my wife says to me, hey, you gotta slow down. My family says that to me, but it's in me, and I've got to continue. There were a lot of people who came before us, who suffered, who did not have the same opportunities. And my advice to the new and upcoming community is to keep that in mind, that you didn't get here alone, and that you have that obligation as leadership and as leaders to continue the greatness that those who came before me and in my generation are passing on to you. I want them to say that he's a person of character. He is a person of dedication. He's a person of commitment, and that he has done well in keeping those goals and objectives in all that he has done in his life and will continue to do as he moves on in life. I have great
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please bring up our next African-American living legend. He is here, and let's bring him up right now. Vernon H. Hicks, Jr.
Good evening. I would like first to thank Art Williams, who nominated me. I know that I stand on the shoulders of a number of people who have received this award before me. Some have gone on to glory, such as Odessa Shannon, Ruby Rubens, Harvey Ziegler. And I also know that I have some good genes because I have a cousin who this weekend, out of Pearl Green, will turn 105 years old. She received this award last year, and she is the pillow of the Quince Orchard community and of our Ricks Green family. And so I feel blessed to have my family here, and all of you who have supported me through the years. And so thank you, and again, I feel blessed. Thank you.
All right, folks, we're nearing the end. As I mentioned, first before I do that, I got to see Andrew Friedson out there, and also Monique Ashton. Please stand up and be recognized. Council members from, of course, Montgomery County, also City of Rockville. Thank you so much. Yes, and so now we're at a point now where we want to, again, still recognize Lieutenant Colonel Shelton Ivan Ware. And I'm going to ask again, who was up this time around? I think it's going to be again, Miss, come on out. Benin. She'll come out again and give us again another reading of that. Thank you so much, Ms. Demgali. Come on out.
Hello again. Retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Shelton Yvonne Ware is an original Tuskegee airman and resident of Montgomery County. Like those airmen, he brings dignity and grace to the community. Born in New Jersey, he joined the Army as an enlistee. When he returned home, he attended Howard University and joined the Reserve Officer Training Corps, ESCR, after graduating. He was commissioned and served in the military for 30 years. He worked with the ROTC at his beloved alma mater, Howard University. He is a charter member of the East Coast chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen. He was recently honored to have an award named after him for deserving cadet in ROTC at Howard University, Bowie State, and University of Maryland. This lifetime Omega Psi Phi member exemplifies a... Sorry, how do I say Omega? Did I say... Omega Psi Phi. Separate it. Okay, you learn something new every day. Thank you. Oh, this lifetime Omega Psi Phi member exemplifies a life devoted to service. While he was unable to be with us tonight, we wanted to let you know about this outstanding living legend. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted, very, very much for that. Really appreciate that indeed. And we will be again recognizing Lieutenant Ware. I'm sorry, actually, I want to say Lieutenant Colonel Ware in a future program. As we end our program tonight, we are very, very blessed to have with us one of our AXO persons who will be coming before us now, Donovan Holt Harrington. He's a sophomore at Seneca Valley High School. And he is going to do 5 bagatelles composed by Gerald Finzi. Donovan Holt Harrington. Come on, Donovan. no, Donovan. Get back over, go right to the dead center and take your bow. Yes. Outstanding, my brother, outstanding. Well, we've come to the end. So we leave you with this. Drop a pebble in the water, just a splash and it is gone. But there's 100 ripplings circling on and on and on, spreading from the center, flowing out to the sea, and there's no way of really telling whether the end is going to be. Drop a pebble in the water. In a moment it is gone. In a moment you forget, but there's little waves of flowing, and there's ripples circling yet. And those little waves of flowing into a great big wave have grown. You've disturbed a mighty river just by dropping in a stone. Drop an unkind word or careless. In a minute it is gone, but there's 100 ripplings circling on and on and on. They keep spreading and spreading and spreading from the center as they go, and there's no way to stop them once you started them to flow. Drop an unkind word or careless. In a minute you forget, but there's little waves of flowing, and there's ripples circling yet. And perhaps in some sad heart, a mighty wave of tears you've stirred, and disturbed but life was happy ere you dropped that unkind word. But drop a word of cheer and kindness, and just a flash, and it is gone. But there's 100 rippling circles circling on and on and on, bearing hope and joy and comfort in each splashing and dashing wave, till you wouldn't believe the volume of the one kind word you gave. So drop a word of cheer and kindness. In a minute you forget, but there is gladness still a swelling, and there's joy a circling yet. And you rolled a wave of comfort, whose sweet music can be heard over miles and miles of water, just by dropping one kind word. To all of our awardees, thank you for dropping into all of us kind words of encouragement, faith, and uplift. And there are ripples rippling on and on and on because of you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's again salute all of our African American Living Legends Award winners tonight. Please stand up and be recognized, everybody. Let's give them a big round of applause. All right, we thank you. We've got some wonderful, wonderful reception of foods out there for you. Please go enjoy and congratulate our folks who have just been so delightful tonight for us. Thank you all for coming. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow at Juneteenth, beginning at noontime. DT